Hey everybody, Rob here. Today we're going to, like we talked about, we're going to do several different product tests, weekly, monthly, daily, however it comes out. There's not going to be any set pattern, so bear with us on it. We're just going to share things as it goes, and like I spoke to you earlier, this is not for negative responses. Like Mom always told me, if you can't get anything good to say, don't say nothing at all. So what we want to do is we want to take each individual products that people want us to test and go out here and shoot it. If it's a bad product, we're not going to shoot it. Or we're going to shoot it, but we're not going to talk about it. But on these products like this, this is the new Custom Shop Federal Loads, and this is actually the Rob Roberts Signature Series waterfowl for the 28 gauge. This little 28 gauge Ethos is a fine gun. It's turned into one of my favorite things to shoot. I think what you're going to find out that the 28 gauge is not for everybody. A lot of guys, they're going to shoot 3-inch, 3.5s and everything like that. And these shells are going to be very expensive. These are solid TSS loads. This is actually 2 3/4, 7/8 load of straight 9 TSS. It's poisonous on turkeys and everything else. This is going to be the waterfowl side of it. They're not for everybody, and so what we're going to try to do is we're not going to try to tell you this is the best thing in the world and you should only use that. That's not what we're here for. We're testing something that is a very superior load. We're going to take it out, we're going to shoot it, we're going to show you what it's doing. You decide whether you want to buy it or not, and like I said, this is going to be really great, especially on some of the places you're going to see this TSS, and like I said, very expensive stuff. But you're going to see people taking it into a lot of the WMA areas where you're only allowed to have so many shells anyway. It's perfect for that, Maybe start off with one and follow it up with something else, if you're that guy that just has to go boom, boom, boom every time ducks fly in. But we're going to take it now, and let's see what we're going to do. We're going to start off with a T3 choke, and we're going to shoot at ranges like at 30 and then over 40. And I think when we get all done, you're going to see that these little sub-gauge guns have really got a place in the waterfowl also. So let's see what we do. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to start off, we're going to shoot this at 30 yards. This will be a 28 gauge, shooting one of our T3 chokes with the Federal Custom Shop TSS straight 9 load. Let's see what she does. Okay, so we've shot this. This is basically a 30 yard with a 28 gauge. We did use a T3. I'm pretty strong in keeping chokes tight on your 410s and 28 gauges. I think it just helps out your overall. But the pattern we got ended up, it's over 94%. Actually 127 pellets in a 10-inch, which is crazy, but that is because we're using the smaller TSS loads. This, you're just going to pound whatever. You can take a greater Canadian goose comes in there and you're going to pound him with that. We are going to move it back. This next shot, we're going to take it all the way out to 45 yards. You're going to notice, and you can probably see that it's, we're in August in Arkansas. It's nice and warm. We've waited up until the afternoon, hopefully to cool off, which is another thing that a lot of people don't take into play, that the heat, temperature, barometer, all that, the humidity, that all comes in play just like it does on a rifle. Probably not as drastic because we're not dealing with all those kind of velocities, but these hot days, it's kind of like really, really cold days. They don't pattern great, but that's pretty awesome stuff right there. I mean, that's actually crazy. So we're going to take it back to 45 yards, see exactly what it does, and we'll be back in a second. We got fantastic patterns with the T3 shooting this load, but we are going to shoot it at 30, and then I'm going to go back at 45 and shoot it with the T2. We were tight enough that T2 may be, you know, the killing size, but I personally would stay with the T3. But that's why we pattern. We're going to know exactly which one's good. So I'm going to shoot it now at 30 and then at 45. So, we've shot these, it's hot, it's miserable. We kind of rushed through a couple of them there just to kind of go back and forth to see what it was doing. But what we have noticed, this load in a 28 gauge is poison. I mean, you're smashing them. The difference between the T2 and T3 choke was not that big a difference. For example, at 30 yards, you know, we're running 97% with the T2 compared to 94% with the T3. And what that amounted to is the T3 was so much tighter. So your core, you know, your 10-inch, your circle, you had 20-some more pellets in a 10-inch circle. So I mean, really and truly, that's great if you're hunting turkeys, but on ducks, it's not really a big a deal. You try to get the most even. Because you've got a flying target, it's coming through there, you want a complete density all the way around, filling up the 20-inch circle. At that point, the 20-inch circles are, I mean, the T3 just a few more, you know, I mean, it's just a little better, but that T2 is doing its job tremendously. Now, when we took them back to 45 yards, which is a long way, you know, I mean, a lot of people are out here with 28 gauge thinking that, you know, but 45, these 28 gauges are just really, really cool guns. We actually had the same amount in a 10-inch circle as we did on the T2 as we did in the T3. And so the load's spreading, it's doing whatever, you know, you can tell they're using the right shot cups and everything in it because it's just a good, even pattern. You had a little more density in the 20-inch circle, not by a bunch. You're talking like 10 pellets or so better, but between the T3 and the T2. And so, quite frankly, it didn't really matter. The T2 is my preferred choke on like the 12 gauge, and usually when I go to the sub gauges, I do, you know, especially 28 gauge, I'll be sporting the T3. The 20 gauge, I use longer barrels all the time. I'm shooting 28-inch barrels on these guns, and so you know, I like to hold them a little bit tighter, but you're not going to go wrong with either one of those chokes, and you're not going to go wrong at all with this load. So yes, this is a great load, and we're proud of that because it is something that we helped develop with them guys, and it's like I said, it's not for everybody, but it is something that it's really going to perform. It's a game changer is what it is. You're going to see, like I said, sub gauges are going to come into play. All the beating and banging is going to be leaving, and you're going to go, your kills are going to be hard. TSS is the wave of the future. I really don't have anything else. I have nothing negative to say about it at all. And so same thing with you guys. We appreciate that. We appreciate you taking a look at what we're doing. Our next segment will be on somebody else's shell or something doing this, and same thing. Let's keep the negativity going. Look at what's good. If you like it, great. If you don't, move on. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. But I think this is the future of what you're going to see. This is really awesome stuff. So take care, and we'll get you on the next one.